Welcome back to another episode of Book Smart Life Dumb. It's me, it's your boy, it's Adam. We're here for an 8th episode. It's hard to believe I've been doing this for 2 months. I'm somewhere between feeling like I've done this for an eternity, but also for not a lot of time either, which that's a very wide scale, but it's how I feel. It's interesting how it's like it's been like therapeutic in a way to just be able to compile thoughts and everything from like throughout my week just into these like full-fledged just audible diaries. And not for nothing, I think if I just didn't have support behind it as much as I've been getting, I think I probably would have been done by now. I probably would have done it for a month, realized it was kind of going nowhere, and just kind of chilled out on it. But I mean, every week throughout my week, people chime in on the streams, or they message me directly talking to me about things that I've talked about in the previous week, or compliments, or just anything. And it's nice. If I had to say it's anything, it's that it is nice, and it is so just it's cool too, you know. I don't like pour my heart and soul into doing this, but it's definitely not easy either. And it's definitely a part of my weekly routine that like has to happen. It's a part of a required thing that happens, not only recording on Fridays, but also just a few days before Monday, just to make sure I have it edited down and to fit that into my schedule. And I think the best part about it though is that I want to do it. I don't have to like encourage myself or convince myself that it's something that has to be done. It's something that I want to do. It's definitely helped to like be like a creative exercise for me. It's something that keeps me from doing other things, I guess, because like I feel like I have like some sort of like personal eureka moment every week about some cool thing I want to do. I mean, the last 2 weeks I've been like trying to workshop in my mind, like doing like a Dungeons and Dragons podcast or something like that, or, you know, or doing something with the storytelling and improv world building. And there's no way I could take on something like that, but it's fun. And I think actually to help satiate that, what I want to start doing, and I'm probably going to do it over the course of this next week, and I'll report back for episode 9. I think I just want to do a world building exercise where I sit down with a fresh notebook, which means I will be up to 3 notebooks that I maintain. But every couple of pages is dedicated to some sort of world building creative exercise. You know, what is the place called? What goes on in this area? What kind of people are there? What is like, you know, their main export? What is like their main activities? How did this town get founded? Is it here because there's some sort of like resource that, you know, stimulates their economy and has become their big thing? You know what I mean? Like when you can jot down like these like cities and these wonderful mystical places in movies and TV and in media and literature, you can also kind of mold that off of like real world places, right? Like there's a town out here in Ohio called Amherst, and their like claim to fame is that it was like, let me see if I can't find it real quick. Their claim to fame was it had to revolve around sandstone. So they have a lot of structures and a lot of things around the town like made of sandstone, and it's a big part of what they are. Let's see, Amherst, Ohio is known as the sandstone center of the world. It's renowned for its high-quality, durable Berea sandstone, which was heavily quarried during the mid-19th century. The stone, often termed Buckeye Gray, has been used globally for construction, including buildings, bridges, and curbing. You get a whole town off of this one resource, and so you can build around that. You can use real-world examples like that, and it's something fun. I think it'll be fun to do in like my like something I could chip away at over the week, where it's like, every week I could dedicate myself to building out one area, one town, and maybe even create characters that are like cornerstone characters in these towns. I want to eventually just have a notebook just full of these fictional cities and places and people that I could then refer to if I were to ever have the time to sit down and do something like that. Being, like running a homebrewed Dungeons and Dragons campaign or something like that. I don't know. But speaking of creative exercises, I actually, as I was sitting down today, I was kind of scrolling on my phone while I was waking up this morning, and on TikTok, it's all based on an algorithm that you build, and there's a lot of math and considerations and etc. that go into what the app is going to show you. I feel like I've been trapped this week though in watching movies on TikTok completely out of order for about 15 seconds at a time. And I thought about it today before I was sitting down because I wanted to talk a lot about like doing creative exercises. I want to do a thing. And maybe I'll even start doing it on the podcast for days where it just feels like something fun to do. I want to try and build on a bit I used to have in GTA roleplay, which was I had a character who would attend these meetings every day, and it was expected that you would bring a bit to the meeting. You would go up and you would do a bit in front of everybody, and everyone would have a good time. My character's bit was that he would explain any movie that somebody brought up to you or brought up to him, whether or not he has seen it or not. And there was somebody who played a blind character who would just give me the title of a movie, and I would ramble for about 5 to 10 minutes explaining what I think that movie is. And I want to evolve that bit now, where I take these movies. Who even knows if they're from the same movie, because they never include the title of the movie in these descriptions. I want to explain what I think that movie is about based off of the 15-second snippets I keep seeing of it. There's one that's really like jogging my mind because it feels like the movie, like I've only seen like the third act of this movie, where it's a lot of people in like a very dark room. It almost seems like a Hell's Kitchen kind of scenario. A lot of people sitting at these tables, and there's like one main guy who's like explaining each course. And I keep seeing this bit where, or not this bit, but this part of the movie where he's like going over, the final bill, gratuities included, and we'll get on to our final course. So everybody puts their cards down, and like it goes like scene by scene, like bit by bit, with like some of the tables where like one guy is like, no, the magazine's gonna pay for this, and then another person's like very seriously looking at this woman. He's like, you're not gonna get out of here, I told you. Which gives me two different completely like tones of what this movie is supposed to be. Is it like a film critic movie? Is it like a very intense version of Chef? Or is this like a murder mystery, or like basically Saw but with food? And what happens is he starts to explain that this final course is a take on an American classic, The S'more, and they're putting like these like big like arrays of like marshmallows on, like draping them on people and then giving them like a chocolate hat. And I'm like, are they about to cook people, or is this just fanfare for the best s'more they're ever going to have in their life? I feel like I'm watching two completely different movies. And so now I kind of want to like make sure I abstain from watching any of those clips when I see it on TikTok, and like swipe past it real quick. And maybe next week, or maybe even the back half of this episode, given I somehow run out of things to talk about, maybe we'll just try and figure out what this movie is about. And maybe that'll just be it. Maybe that'll be it. Oh, my timeline is messed up. So when I record these episodes, I stretch out the timeline on DaVinci Resolve so that from one end of my screen, it is the 0 marker, and the other end of my screen, it is like the 35-minute marker. So I can see, how much talking I've done. And I'm sitting here and I'm jamming and I'm just like, I feel like I've been talking a little bit longer than I have. Turns out I have my screen stretched out to the 2 hours and 35-minute marker screen. Oopsie daisy. Yeah, that might be a good idea. I'm gonna write that one down. I'm gonna on the notes when you guys see them on Patreon when I upload the picture, you'll see a checkbox instead of a check mark next to the topic, and that'll just be my reminder for me to come back and think on it later. Over the last week though, which I forgot, we're a third of the way through the episode. I forgot. How was your week? I hope it was good. I hope it treated you well. I hope the weekend was a perfect little end cap to everything that transpired before. I hope that this Monday morning that you were listening to this, or Tuesday or Wednesday, whenever I fit into your rotation of podcasts, I hope that the rest of your week treats you so freaking well, so freaking good. I hope that you find that thing that you thought you lost. I hope that you have a meal that you haven't thought about in a long time. I hope that you clean that spot in your home or apartment that has been bothering you for a month, and it's finally time for you to muster up the strength to just move that crap to wherever it's supposed to go. Either way, I hope that you have the kind of week that by the time you listen to the next episode, you can look back on this week and you can take a deep breath and know that you've enjoyed it. And if not, we just try again. But speaking of my week, I have been on a journey, I should say. I guess more of it feels more like a mental journey, but I have been just trying to eat clean. I've just been trying to eat so much better. So many more vegetables, so many more fruits. I actually started eating breakfast again. I've been skipping breakfast for about a year at this point. I finally started trying to just do something for myself for breakfast, and that has been honestly pretty good. I find that I would enjoy rather a smoothie, like something homemade, not like something off the shelf kind of smoothie, but just something where I just toss a bunch of like fruits in there and the odd vegetable, and I can take it to work and I can enjoy it over the course of my morning, which might not kind of like fit in like the breakfast category. I don't know. Is it still breakfast if you enjoy it all the way until lunch? Is it still breakfast if you enjoy it over a couple hours instead of like 20 minutes? I don't know. I just heard something hit my window. The wind and the weather has been odd. We had a couple days where it was really cold again, but now we're back up to the warm weather that we are expecting as we fully transform over into spring. But the wind has just been nasty. The wind has just been out there. But speaking of eating healthier, though, circling back to that, making sure I'm setting time aside for myself when I get back home from work to actually like have something that's, a protein and a vegetable, not a lot of carbs, not a lot of bread. Trying to stay away from bread. Hard to stay away from bread. Because boy, do I like sandwiches. A good sandwich is a good sandwich, which I think I fall into having my worst meal of the day when I'm at work. Because at work, I don't really have a plan for the day because we work in grocery. And so what happens is that oftentimes when we are sent things to stock, there is a chance that some stuff is either going to fall out of sell by date, which means that we can't sell it anymore, or we get sent stuff that we weren't supposed to get, and because it's like a refrigerated product, we can't like put it off to the side for them to come pick up. Something has to get disposed of. So I kind of play my day by ear. When I get to work, I check like our fridges, I check like all the stuff like that. But the thing is with the sell by date stuff, I don't let it go way out of expiration. If it's other words like we were supposed to sell it by yesterday, but it's also like a can of soup or something like that, like it's gonna be fine. You're gonna be okay. It's also free. I don't have to pay for it. Sometimes I pay for stuff. Sometimes I'll have to buy like a sandwich. And I think I make good choices when it comes to sandwiches. I would say I don't really go for. Now that I'm thinking about it, what is a bad choice for a sandwich, or is it just all bad because it's bread? I don't like thinking that bread is bad, though. I think if you fall into this mindset where staples in food are bad, I think what happens is that you start to alienate entire genres of food. Whereas, like, if you sit here and you go, bread is bad, therefore the sandwich is bad, therefore toast is bad, therefore croutons are bad, garlic bread, these other things that aren't like the main bit of it, you know? You look at it, you go, pizza is bad. And while these things aren't ideally like the eat clean, low carb, high protein, good amount of fiber, blah, 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 blah kind of diet items, at the same time, pizza isn't gonna, like, a few slices of pizza isn't gonna kill you, you know? A sandwich can also have a lot in there that you need, you know, protein heavy sandwiches, etc. Here's the thing. Let's take something like cereal. Let's look at a bowl of cereal for you. Did you know that milk has, I would say, not an obscene amount, but a lot more sugar than you might realize in it? Let's see, sugar in milk. Yeah, you're looking at 12 grams of sugar per 8 ounces, which can be hard to quantify, especially if you're free pouring your milk into your cereal. And then on top of that, what kind of cereal are you eating? Are you having Frosted Flakes? Are you having Fruity Pebbles? Or are you going for the blandest of the bland? You're looking for mini wheats that aren't frosted. You know, are you looking for the heart healthy Cheerios that have no like frosting on each individual Honey Nut Cheerio? There's a wide variety and range of stuff out there for you, but at the end of the day, it's all carbohydrates. It's sugar, which is also carbohydrates. There might be some other stuff on there. But everybody is different, right? Because if you are someone who exercises 5 days out of the week, you're probably going to need your carbohydrates. Am I right? You can't do these things. You can and you can't. It all depends on who you are. If I'm saying anything, which I feel like I haven't said anything, but if I'm saying anything here, it's that when it comes to eating clean, when it comes to eating healthier, when it comes to your diet, to how you want to curb how you eat food to benefit your life specifically, what I'm trying to get at is that none of us are one and the same. So when I get told advice on how I should eat, I am a completely different person than the person telling me on what I should eat. I'm not going to take the advice from someone who is completely jacked to the brim, rivaling Dwayne The Rock Johnson when it comes to physique, you know, but I'm also not going to take my advice from someone who's like doesn't exercise, right? Who doesn't do any cardio. The people who are from the mountaintops telling me that I should go keto or I should, you know, try to have zero carbs in any of my diets. Like, I do a lot of cardio throughout my week. I do a lot of moving around. I do a lot. I spend a lot of time at my desk, but that's leisure time. That's home. When I'm at work, I'm fucking sweating, you know? And so it's all different. And so if anything, over the last couple of weeks, I have been talking about wanting to try going like vegetarian or like eating cleaner and etc. I think at the end of the day, what I have arrived on for me is that I just need to pay attention to what I'm eating and be a bit smarter about what it is that I'm eating. And I've already started to see some results. I don't feel like more energetic, but I do feel less heavy. I do feel like I'm not constantly like at my limit for my energy. I feel like my body is responding to things a lot better. I don't wake up feeling as shitty. I still feel shitty, but that's just waking up. I've never been a morning person, but I feel a bit better in the mornings, and that energy carries through a little bit more every day throughout my week. And after a couple of weeks of this, I looked at myself in the mirror and I felt like I was seeing some results there. You know, I don't have that end of day bloat because I'm still sitting on and working on everything I've eaten over the course of the day. I don't know. I just feel better. A lot of asparagus. I will say that. A lot of asparagus. I had some Brussels sprouts the other night. I've got some string beans I'm putting in tonight. I have a buffalo chicken dip, which is probably the heaviest thing I'm going to eat this week today. I had that. I had made that last night, and it was just something for me to just kind of like snack on to prevent from eating a whole giant meal. Because when I'm home, I do find that I overeat a lot easier. When I'm at home, I feel like I eat a lot more because I'm not bored. A lot of people eat out of boredom, but I'm not bored when I'm home. I'm just kind of in it. You know, I'm just kind of, it's just like, it feels like it's something I'm supposed to do because I'm home. It's odd. It's odd. But so I'm trying to, for my Fridays and my Sundays, which are my days off of work, trying to figure out what is something I can just eat that can be light over the course of the day. Something I can pick at until I have like a more structured meal. Which I might not even do a structured meal tonight. But what is something I could do? And I feel like doing like this chicken dip that I've been like a recipe I feel like I've been perfecting over like a month. It's just a good way to do that. It's a really good way to do that. But that's me. That's what my last week has been like, is really just kind of like the realization of what kind of dieting I need to do, if needing any of it, right? I have another thing written down here in my book. It just says podcaster nicknames. I've noticed that a lot more of like the kind of podcasts I've been like getting recommended, and like short clips from those podcasts I've been getting recommended usually have some form of like morning zoo crew kind of energy to them. Very, very like snapback trucker hat, like in tank tops, kind of TikTok, or not TikToks, but podcasts. Which it's fine. It's not. I'm not downing. Like I'm not trying to like shame any of that. I'm just like, for the podcasts that I do between Show and Booksmart, I'm trying to think like, would I even want to have a nickname? I think on Show, if I tried to give everybody nicknames, that might be fun. Maybe I'll write that down for Show tomorrow. Let's see, Show number, or no, it's season 2, episode 6. I think we're going on to. No, we're going on to episode 7. Let's do that. Let's do nicknames. We should nominate other people's nicknames. We should do a bucket of nicknames for each other and draw from the bucket on what our nickname is gonna be. Oh my God. Yeah, we do a big, oh my God, this is so good. Okay. Nicknames bucket. So what it is that you come up with a bunch of nicknames, maybe some you want for yourself, but also ones that you want to put on other people. We come up with like 4 each. And then from that bucket, we all pull a nickname, and that's just what we'd have to go by for the rest of the episode. That would be so good. That would be so good. I'm definitely putting in like the Rizzler in there because it's just funny, because that's already affixed to like somebody else. It's to a kid. What are some other nicknames? I might take some nicknames from stream today. I might do that. I might have to do that for Show. That's pretty good. Well, I don't know though what kind of nickname I would give myself though. The Beatus. The Beatus. I guess I could do like, what if I did like, I guess like if I had to give myself a nickname, I don't know. I'm so like into like high fantasy and sci-fi and like mishmashes of both of them together lately. I've been so into that as of recent. God, that, you know what? If you know Destiny 2, the Bungie game, I feel like that's, if you pulled nicknames from that, that would probably be the perfect ones for me. But obviously, I'm not like this like large like space barbarian who's like, you know, like Adam, the Crusher of Skulls. You know, what are things that I do is like, it would be like Adam, cooker of meals. Adam, worrier of things not to worry about. What would another one be? Adam, planner of events that'll never happen. That would be good. Those would be funny. Would I ever introduce myself as such? God, no. I already have a hard time introducing myself by my screen name when I go to conventions. Like, thank God when you go to conventions, they just have a badge with your screen name on it, right? And even in the RP space, because like a lot of us don't stream with like our webcams on. A lot of us don't know what we look like unless like you're very like selfie centric on social media or you use a camera while you stream. So it's always interesting to go to these meetups and to like handshake somebody and be like, oh, hey, nice to meet you. And then like try to listen to their voice to see if you can suss out if you've run into their character before, especially like someone like me who doesn't really get time to watch a lot of other streams these days. So it's like other people will be like, oh, that's such and such, you know, like I've watched this stream before. I know who they play. We've interacted with each other before. But for me, I'm like, I don't watch streams. Who are you? And it's even funnier when I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Adam. I play such and such, and they're like, I know, and I'm like, oh, oh man, sorry if I sound a little like off today. I'm definitely feeling nasally with all like, I don't know if it's just like all the dust that's getting kicked up with all this wind or something, but I feel like I've been a lot more stuffed up lately. Not like permanently, but just like sporadically, I feel like my sinuses have just been full. So my apologies for that. Sorry about that. And if I'm looking up at the time code, I think that will do it for us. I think that will be a Booksmart Lifetime number 8 in the books. If you really like this podcast and you really, really want to support it, you can go to patreon.com/bookdom, where you can find a myriad of different tiers to support this at. And if you are at the lowest level, being $2 a month, you could actually listen to these episodes an entire weekend early. You can listen to them on Friday instead of on Monday. The next episode is going to be recorded on April 10th, which means that it'll be out for everybody to listen to on April 13th. I hope you have a fantastic weekend. I hope you have an absolute blast out there, and also a fantastic week for the rest of you too. All right, guys. I'll see you all for number 9. See you next week. Bye-bye.